Ndewo. Ndewo is an Igbo Nigerian word that means long life to you. It actually means greetings as far as many people know, but it has a deeper meaning, and that is long life to you. And that is what I hope and pray for each and every one of you gathered underneath the sound of my voice, wherever you may be. I'm Oke Dibia, Dr. Uwa Onyioha Osimiri. I am the senior spiritual leader of Guardianism International. What is Guardianism? Godianism is a synthesis of African spiritual traditions of direct communication with the Creator. That is to say, that right where I am, the Creator is, God is. God has a different name in different tongues. So when I say, right where I am, God is, I may say, right where I am, Chineke is, Olodumare, Tamuna, Jinyami, Katonda, Nyemi, Nkosi, Mwari, Vuzilele. God has a different name in different tongues, but we're all looking up to the same spiritual being. And those are all the different names that we have for the Creator. Guardianism, the purpose of Guardianism is quite detailed, but I just want to briefly give you an overview, a summary actually. If you want to know a little bit more about Guardianism, you go to Chiism, that's CHI-ISM.org, and you get the information about all the mission statement of Guardianism and the 18 purgative lights. The 18 purgative lights represent the principles that we believe in and we propagate, and they guide our behavior. The founder of Godianism is Obaja Ahanke Oke Onyioha, who happens to be my father. I am so proud that he was my father. He has now joined the ancestors, and I'm sure watching over us as we speak right now. The 18 purgative lights is intended to create peace in the world. What do I mean by that? Let me just give you an example of 3 of the purgative lights. Number 1, I believe in the Almighty God, creator of heaven and earth, the heavens and earth, as my source of inspiration, my strength and my protector. Now, most religions believe that. Secondly, I believe in the universal brotherhood and sisterhood of humanity under the parenthood of Chineke. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Do unto others as you will have Chineke do unto you. You must not steal, you must not commit adultery, and in respect and reverence to elders, just laws, and in retributive justice. Well, I dare say that most countries, most religions believe in these same concepts. So it's nothing new that anybody introduced to us. We believed in those before the religions came on our shores. The third one is, I believe that every human being, consciously or unconsciously, systematized or unsystematized, look up to something above them as their source of inspiration, and that something is the Almighty Chineke. So why do we think that Chiism would help make Africans a little bit more self-sufficient, a little bit more competitive in the world? Well, the key thing that we must remember is that the mind is a powerful tool. Religion has been a powerful tool used to control our minds. Because what religion has done, foreign religions that is, what they have done is they've convinced us that our way of life, our way of honoring the Creator, our way of giving supplication to the Creator is wrong. It's wrong, it's evil. And it is their way that's preferable. What that has done, and then we say, when you take a man or a woman's religion from them, spirituality from them, you render them useless. They can't think on their own anymore. This is what religion has done. Used our minds, confused our minds, and made us feel insufficient, incapable of original thinking. The most powerful tool in the hands of an oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. We are an oppressed people. Now, many of us don't want to hear it, but we are. Our minds have been used as a tool to work against us, and that's what a tool is. A tool can be used to work for you or to work against you. And over the years, that is what religion has been used Religion has become so detrimental to our well-being as Africans. You've got people who have PhDs who still believe in fairy tales that have been fed to us. We spend so much time listening to his story. We don't tell our own story. There's an Igbo proverb that says, that means you know someone, you can regurgitate someone else's story, but nobody knows your own because you reject your own. We're the only people who throw our things away out the door, and somehow we still demand respect. Respect is earned. We have not earned it. It's time for us to earn it. Africa is quite capable of taking care of itself, but as long as the mind is in chains, it's a difficult thing. Many of us would rather believe what the Europeans or the Chinese or whomsoever say about us, to us, feed us. We eat it up and we add sugar. The most powerful tool in the hands of an oppressor is the mind. Stephen Biko said it to young South Africans. If you can only hold on to your mind, even if they take your money, if they take everything from you and they don't take your mind, that means you're still capable of of being creative and making awesome things happen, of turning things around. But as long as your mind is in chains, you can't do that. So what is it that we have to do? What does Guardianism want us to do? To reenact a glorious past in the present. It is important for us to remember who we are. There is an Igbo proverb that says, when you know who you were, you know why you're where you are today and where you will be and how to prepare for tomorrow. We don't even evaluate our history. Many of us don't. You know, I'm a professor, and when my students will write their papers, and they don't cite any works. Now, I'm talking about my African American students and African students. If they cannot cite sources from a black source, they never get an A. Because it's imperative for them to understand that their own people have contributions that they have made, and they need to seek and find out what those things are. It is imperative for us as Africans to begin to reconvene our minds, to start thinking, how do we rebuild our nations? How do we nation formation, nation building? How do we do that? We must go back to establishing unity. We must become a unified force. Unity was a part of our experience before the Europeans came. Let us remember that we used to travel from one part of Africa to the other. We didn't have any boundaries. We didn't celebrate boundaries. Many of us would go to different countries and would set shop there. We become a part of that community. We were unified, and the fact that we believe that monachiso, that I walk with the Creator and I'm a temple of the Creator. And if that's the case, that means that my fellow human being is the temple also. When you recognize another person, when you see the God in another person, you honor and you respect them. We say, we are God to each other. We were so unified as a people that religion was never a source of any wars. We could go to someone else's shrine and pray and worship, and not fight, not argue about it. We have allowed ourselves, our sacred things to be destroyed. If you go to Enugu, what part of Nigeria, as a matter of fact, anywhere in Africa you go, they're destroying our sacred things, our shrines. And yet, every Sunday we take our children to their shrines. And their shrines are not different from ours. You got Mary, you got Jesus, you got all these things. But when you look at ours, you look at ours as evil, even though ours are just the same thing as you're doing. Looking up to those that have done phenomenal things and looking up to them as your heroes and sheroes. We have our own ancestors. You tell us our ancestors, believing in our ancestors are evil. But if you go to churches, you see all their ancestors. But you see, you can't complain about what people are doing to you when you allow them to do it to you. It is us It is us who are embracing these things now. It is us who are embracing these things. So we used to be a unified people, and how about the fact that we were so confident because we knew that we had the Creator in us. We were so confident that we could do things. Look at us now. We don't even believe in ourselves. We've got COVID. We've got this disease and that disease. We are waiting for other people to find the cure for it. What about us? Yet when you look all over the world, it is us. It is African people who are the heads of hospitals, heads of technology. And yet for some reason, we can't find that self-determination, that the affirmation within ourselves to know we can do the same thing. This is what we must do. We must focus on building up our people's capacity to believe in themselves. And then we must go back. If we want Africa to become whole again, we must go back to what we used to do, and that is Ole Honanya, collective people. Collectively we did things. We did things collectively. I remember when I was a child, you go to the village, what do you see? Women sweeping, singing, keeping the community clean was a mandate. It was a collective thing. What about if you believe in your own people? You believe in supporting them. We don't support our people. The money that should be there to build us up, we spend it elsewhere. Las Palmas, England, the United States, the money that we should use to support those in our own countries that are making and developing and creating things, but we tell them it's not good enough because it wasn't made in England, it wasn't made in China. I remember a guy who I wanted to buy shoes in Nigeria. He didn't want me to buy it because it was made in Nigeria. I insisted, I want that. I want it because it's made in Nigeria. The only way, that is what my God wants me to do, to support you. To support the people in Africa. To support the people in our communities. In India, the Indians in America, let me just use an example. The money screams before it leaves, a dollar screams before it leaves their hands. They spend money in their community. We must spend money in our community. We must encourage our people to develop things that we buy. That is how our people will grow. Madubuchi beya, we are God to each other. It's okay. It's okay for us to support each other. It's okay. And then, each one of us was born. The day we were born, there was a purpose for our lives. They ask you, Ibuwonye, when you're misbehaving, they will ask you, Ibuwonye, whose child are you? Who are you? Because there's a reason for your birth. You're not here just to take in air. You're here to make a difference in the world. You're supposed to be a part of the growth of the African people. Our responsibility is not to go to church and praise Chineke. Our responsibility is to be the church. Wherever we go, we are making things happen. We are helping the poor. We're helping the sick. This is our charge. This is what it means to be a Chiist. If many of our people will think along those lines, one sick child is one too many. One homeless woman is one too many. One drunk man, despondent man is one too many. One failing child in school is one too many. Our responsibility and purpose as Chiists is to make sure that our people are cared for by us. It is our job. And then we need to ask ourselves, why is it that all over the world they are tapping into our power, our spiritual power? Why is it that they are taking our talent and developing everywhere in the world, but we cannot use that talent that God gave us, that Chineke gave us to develop our world? Why? You can't blame other people because, look, we've got the capacity, but we refuse to use it, but it's time. Things have got to change. I don't blame anybody for our condition in the world as long as we are unwilling to open our eyes and wake up and be practical with what we believe Everything that we believe must be something we can touch and feel. Has to be practical. We need to stop believing in fables. His story, someone else's story. Last but not least, faith. What is our faith? Under what umbrella do we operate? Under what umbrella? The Jews have Judaism. The Arabs have Islam. The whites have Christianity. Indians have Buddhism. Chinese have Confucianism. You have Taoism, Zoroastrianism, and it goes on and on. Africans, which one is yours? What is your umbrella? What is your religion? That is what Chiism is here to do. That is what Guardianism is here to do. To remind us that we have a spiritual umbrella, that we can come together and work together so that we can move ourselves from a position of lack to a position of strength. And so it is. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.